Well, hello, my dark feminine babes. We have some interesting energy. Now, this blood moon can feel chaotic for you if you need to do a little bit more shadow work. That's okay though, because we're here to talk about it. And before I get started, I was holding 3 cards for a reason, I promise you. They're not just here floating around. I like to kind of do a little energy reading so we can confirm the topic and what type of energy we need to focus on. So these are not random. Or wait, they are random, they're not handpicked. I said that backwards. Anyway, so the first card that we got was oppression. So we can feel a lot of like instability with a full moon energy. It really depends on you individually. You can feel chaotic, but sometimes it's not even just your chaotic energy, it's the people around you because other people's chaos can be amplified during this time because it is a shadow period. Um, it really is more so about blessings and welcoming blessings in and allowing abundance to come in for you, depending on what your manifestations are, what your focus is. But a lot of us too can feel really stressed out about situations, so oppression will definitely come up. Feel like a little bit of an instability with whatever you have been trying to manifest. Like, when is this really coming in for me? Is it going to even come in? Like, you got to be patient for these sort of things, and I would definitely recommend watching my older video about manifesting by like basically forgetting your manifestation and okay, so it's manifesting but defocusing your energy. So that will teach you that a lot of the shadow work we're going through is to teach us strength. So having gratitude and strength for the patience period, the time zone where we need to be like ready and okay with things slowly coming in, because it takes work. You gotta work for these things sometimes, not always, and not super hard. You do not have to overwork yourself. That is not the point. But you do have to put some energy, some like focus in on your manifestations. It is 444, by the way. And you have to actually do work. Like, I make YouTube videos every day. It doesn't take energy out of me. I mean, sometimes when I'm doing readings, I get a little bit like dehydrated, and if I talk too much, you can get dehydrated and feel like your energy being depleted when you're doing energy work, spell work for other people. So that could be a really big one coming up for you, is learning how to recharge yourself. But that is why we have the strength card here too, because we learn a lot about our strength and our inner wisdom through going through this shadow period or having to do with shadow work, focusing back on shadow work. It will teach us more about ourselves and how to amplify our high priestess energy. So you may actually be a high priestess anyway with this reading that I got here. So it just feels like a little off or a little strange right now. We do have a blood moon. It is a rare event, and we've had like I think 2 or 3 of them this year. And we just had a solar eclipse for the new moon, too. So we had the solar eclipse, the new moon, bringing in a lot of weird dreams, a lot of like astral travel and just strange weird vibes, and you felt really drained and I won't say dramatic, but just really strange. Like, that is like the best way I can put it. That is the only word I can really say for that. It has been strange. It has been a strange like week, couple of weeks, but we're starting to get our energy back and focusing back in towards the shadow work. But at the same time, we've like done the shadow work. That is what the message really is too, is that we've done the shadow work, and that's why we have the strength, because the oppression brings in gratitude. I know it sounds strange, but the oppression does bring in gratitude. It allows you to see things more clearly, because like, okay, so think of it this way, like your manifestation can come through, but you'll be all overthinking about like why, when, how, where, and then you're just completely distracted, and then you will like basically have the manifestation come in for you, and then you'll have no gratitude, and you'll be overworked and just overconsumed by the energy, and so it's like you won't even see it actually happen sometimes. And so it's a big thing about like the shadow lessons is being able to be patient for things to happen in their time zone, because the universe has to move things around. It has to do things energetically in order for this stuff to come in clearer and much faster for you. So understand that it's a process, because that will amplify your high priestess energy first of all, and you'll really see that in the next few weeks coming up. Like the things that you wanted are coming in for you. You just had to learn how to deal with like the other energy involved, because there's other people in your life This is the big one here. There's other people in your life that are not spiritually in tune, not spiritually inclined, and so they will kind of affect your energy if you're not careful. So it's about being careful and precise about understanding your own energy and your own wisdom, and also understanding other people's bullshit and chaos that does not belong to you. It is somebody else's chaos, and going into a public situation, I highly recommend bringing crystals and just like making sure that you're protected, especially during a time period, with like a full moon or a new moon. I'm not trying to like psych you out or say that you have to be protected at all times, but I definitely recommend it. But like you would want to bring more crystals around for you, like so you don't have other people's energy rubbing off on you and you're more focused in about yourself rather than other people, because other people can be distracting and they could have some things going on in their life and not even tell you about it, and it energetically will affect you. I know that sounds strange, but like people's vibes will rub off on you, and ask other people. It happens. It really does. It's such a true thing. But if you're good about your own energy, if you have the high priestess, your strength, and you just know how to organize things like mentally, then you won't have to worry so much about that. It can just be like kind of like a side burden to like brush off your shoulders, and just basically remind yourself that this isn't me, this is somebody else involved. So whatever, to each their own. So with that being said, like, your divine feminine is really going to be a healer, but not a healer in such a way where we need to fix people. We need to heal specific people or work with people without receiving. So you need to be receiving abundance payments for your tarot readings. You need to be receiving payments for your Reiki, your energy, your time. Like, time is money. You're valuable. You have to see your self-worth, and that's why we go through a lot of these situationships, and it allows us to remember that we can't just give ourselves away freely, and maybe a free economy, which is questionable right now. We're not going to get into politics and economics, but you know what I mean. Like, we have to put food on our table, and you have to do that through work and effort. And so if people don't see the value in that, you don't have to overextend yourself and devalue yourself by giving yourself away to other people. I hope that makes sense, because it should. And doing ooh, the divine feminine energy is really about focusing back towards self, but also being able to reflect back towards other people. So reflecting your own energy and your own inner healing towards other people. People will see you, and I won't say idolize you, but they'll see this energy that you blossom and that you bring to the table and shine out, and they'll see that, and they'll reflect back towards themselves. Like, well, it's not like they're going to, like, sometimes toxic people will try to copy you, but that's not the point. Like, they will see that and realize some of the inner healing that they need to do. Like they'll see something in you that shines bright, and so they'll be like, hey, like, what could I do to work towards that type of energy, or what can I do to kind of be less chaotic in a lot of ways. So you have to understand, like, when we're healers, when we're the dark feminine, it's not our job to protect other people. It's not our job to protect other people's feelings, especially. But it's also like, you don't need to overextend yourself for people who do not value you and see your time is worth a lot of value. So if they're not seeing it, then there's something about you that's also not seeing it, and that's why you'll go through more of a shadow period and dark shadow work. So you have to focus back on yourself and be able to be selfish. Again, with like the selfish period, I've talked about this in some other videos too. Like, we go into our selfish era, and it's not about your ego. And your ego is healthy, by the way. There's spiritual ego, and then there's a whole amplified of other types of egos, and that's a whole other video to watch. I do have that one as well. But like there's different forms of ego, and you do need to respect your spiritual ego because it allows you to value yourself. It allows you to have gratitude for self and gratitude for the universe. So just understand that being in your selfish period, being the villain of somebody else's story, you're going to be the villain of a lot of people's stories, babes. I love you, but you cannot be a people pleaser. That is a whole other ego type, and you do not want to be a part of that. So understand that, like, just focus on yourself and your own growth, and other people will see that, and then they will heal themselves through you, through seeing you, reflecting on you, and being that mirror for other people. Like, I'm not telling you to put yourself on a pedestal, but you deserve to be on a pedestal. It's you are there. We learn through each other. We shine through each other. We should learn from other people's mistakes. We learn from the past mistakes of others and ourselves. But at the same time, too, like, we don't have to, like, collectively keep repeating cycles. And this is all about breaking chains, ending cycles completely so we don't have to re-experience trauma. Okay? So understand that part of the dark feminine, and then you will be able to really reflect. She's going to trigger you. If you're a masculine, or if you have masculine energy, that's like your primary like energy, they're going, even your feminine, like if you have a wounded feminine, like those things are going to trigger you and make you upset in a lot of ways. But that's okay too. It's okay to be upset because it's just things that we got to understand and be patient with ourselves and learn from other people on how to just really treat ourselves better and be better for other people. So, like, we can be there for people but not overextend ourselves. And it sounds strange in a lot of ways karmically. Big word here, karma. Karmically, we can feel like we have to be there for other people when they're feeling down or low, but at the same time, that sort of thing will really drag you down. So it will make you feel like drained. It will, again, devalue you, and don't you dare. My dog's trying to bark. It will make you feel like, there's conflict within yourself, and it's not necessarily necessary. Like, you don't have to feel less. You don't have to do more for other people in order for them to be more. Like, you don't have to put energy into somebody else for them to start healing. That's the biggest message here, is that you do not have to, like, heal somebody specific, especially for free, babe. If they want to pay for your service, energy-wise, $4.55, then have them pay you ahead of time. Ask for a deposit especially, but also expect full payment and receive full payment because work will come to you. These people, when you are a magnifier, when you allow yourself to breathe into the dark feminine and breathe out the dark feminine, then your clients will come to you, first of all, and they will actually see the value that you really have. And more so, especially if you're in your shadow period, more so they'll see it more than you will. And so you need to reflect on that too. If people are giving you a lot of money for your work and effort, there's probably something there that you need to see for yourself about yourself, okay? Like, if you are receiving payments in big sums from people, then there's something that you bring to the table. There's some effort. And it's hard to see that sometimes within ourselves. Like, do I really deserve all of this money that people are throwing at me? Yes, you do, because you're here to help the planet. You're here to learn and teach others, especially. So, we're not here to just learn all these karmic lessons for nothing, babe. You're here to have a life. You're here to feed yourself. You're here to give yourself a great life. You're here to give your children a great life and other people's children. And that's like the whole point, is we're trying to heal this planet. And it takes effort and it takes time and it's draining. So you cannot pour from an empty cup. I have said this so many times today and all kinds of other videos. I hope it sets in soon. No, but seriously, like, you have to be there for yourself before you can be there for other people. And yeah, we can overextend ourselves for some people, like friends and family and people that are important to us, but we have to understand healthy boundaries first of all. Healthy boundaries is what's going to keep you energetically prepared for other people's chaos, and it'll allow you to use discernment between energetic situations, especially if you are somewhat involved but not really, like friendship wise. People will expect things from you, and be careful with those type of friendships anyway. There's a lot of narcissism in that, but like the thing is like they'll pull on your energy, and if you let them, then they will get what they want. They'll feed, and then they'll run away. Kind of like the narcissist thing, the narcissist versus empath thing. This is like a big one for dark feminine. If you're not fully in your dark feminine, you will learn that just because you're an empath doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of value if you're letting people walk all over you. So just because you can understand other people, you're psychic, and you have the ability to see through people, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're valuing yourself the way that you should be, and people could still be stepping on you. So learn to defeat those type of situationships and be the dark empath, and learn to cut people off. If people are trying to like constantly talk to you about their problems, there's something there that you're feeding into, and you're feeding somebody else's ego by constantly being there for somebody. So you can cut somebody off, let them learn their own life lessons and do their own thing, and they will be okay. I know that that sounds like selfish or like, well, I'm here to heal other people, but love and light is not the way. It is a little bit of the way, but it is not the whole spectrum, okay? Like, we can be there and be supportive of other people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to cut our hearts open and pour into somebody else and just have to figure out how to stitch this whole thing up by ourselves again. It is not the way. There's so many other ways to be there for people, and sometimes tough love is the best form of healing that you can give somebody. Tough love will teach them that they're pulling on somebody too much, that they're doing too much, they're overstimulating somebody, or you specifically. So learn to pull away from those type of situations if somebody is draining you. Like your dark feminine will like let you know, but it is your job to react or sorry, respond towards that message. So don't react. But like, understand that if you feel drained by somebody, especially somebody specific, then there's something going on there that's probably karmically involved and that you need to step away from. So just because you feel like you want to be there for other people doesn't necessarily mean that you should. That is the most important message here. And I know that we're going through a lot of shadow learning for this collectively. So I really hope that that resonates and that you sit with it and maybe do some shadow work, some shadow journaling, because that will help you kind of like get some clarity on like why am I so I won't say so much of a people pleaser. Sometimes we are a people pleaser, but sometimes it's kind of like, well, we want to be there to like we gotta have value. I can't really say this another way, but we really gotta have value for ourselves. And if you're just constantly allowing other people to drain you, then you don't value yourself the way that you should be, like, so understand when to cut people off, when you need to cut situationships off, when you need to step away from something and just go into an isolation. I won't say completely isolate yourself at all, but sometimes it is great to like kind of like step away from society and just do some reflectory type of period. I did that for a couple years, and I stayed I am still single, but I stayed single for quite a while, and I just kind of did my own thing, focused on healing, focused my brain on healing. Please stop barking. I'm sorry about that, guys. Quinn. No. Okay. I'm gonna cut this here short because my dogs are freaking out for some reason. But like, yeah, you need to learn when to really like allow yourself to separate from specific people and just society as a whole too, because we have to do inner healing. We have to like recharge, do some moon work, howl at the moon, do some baths, some cleansing. You need to stop barking. And you need to just kind of like learn like healthier communication and healthy boundaries, because that will protect you from chaos that you don't need to be involved in more than anything. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be like toxically like disconnected from society at all. That's not what I'm saying either. But like there's a fine, beautiful balance. I promise you, you will find that balance within yourself. You just have to do the inner work and do the shadow work, and you will become this glorious dark feminine. You don't have to be a goth babe in order to be a dark feminine, by the way, but it helps. So I hope that message resonates. I hope you have a beautiful blood moon. Do not forget to make your full moon water. I made like 7 jars this time. Hopefully I'll get into more spells and rituals for you guys to enjoy. Don't know why my video just glitched, but you guys make sure that you're recharging yourself, especially during a moon period, especially a very big moon event. It may feel like it's minuscule, but why are you feeling so chaotic right now? Just saying. I love you. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye.